Snoop Dogg is an icon in hip-hop culture, but his journey through decades of music, relationships, and business dealings have not been without controversy. While Snoop is often celebrated for his laid-back persona and adaptability, there have been instances where his actions have led to perceptions of disloyalty. These moments have involved some of his closest collaborators and industry figures. Snoop's decisions have often sparked debate about the balance between self-preservation and loyalty. While these instances may tarnish his relationships with some peers, they also reflect the complexities of navigating personal and professional dynamics in the competitive world of hip-hop. One of the most significant instances of perceived disloyalty in Snoop Dogg's career involves his relationship with Tupac Shakur. During the mid-1990s, both artists were part of Death Row Records and had a brotherly bond. However, tensions arose in the months leading up to Tupac's death in September 1996. Tupac was deeply entrenched in the East Coast-West Coast rap feud, particularly with the Notorious B.I.G. and Bad Boy Records. While Tupac expected unwavering loyalty from Death Row associates, Snoop stayed neutral. At the height of the East Coast-West Coast beef, Snoop told Angie Martinez in an interview, "I'm cool with them. I want to do some music with them," and asked how he felt about Puff and Biggie. This deeply hurt Tupac, as he was a cornerstone of support for Snoop during his murder trial in 1993, in which he and his bodyguard McKinley Lee were charged for first and second-degree murder in the shooting of Philip Wolder Merriam. Snoop later recounted in a 2019 interview with Angie Martinez how this caused Tupac to feel betrayed, leading to a fallout. On a flight shortly after the incident, Snoop described how Tupac and others from Death Row refused to acknowledge him, creating a chilling atmosphere. Snoop stated,
"First of all, Pac ain't said to me though, from that moment on. So I walked to the back of the plane, give me a blanket, grab me a knife and a fork, put the blanket over my nose right here, my low black glasses on, and ride like this the whole flight."
Further insinuating that Snoop did not feel safe around his fellow Death Row members after his Angie Martinez interview. Snoop's perceived failure to take a stronger stance in Tupac's defense during the East Coast-West Coast feud and his subsequent future collaboration with artists like Puff Daddy on tracks like Welcome to Atlanta and It's Crackin' All Night further fueled accusations of disloyalty. While Snoop maintained that he saw peace and unity in hip-hop, Tupac's fans and associates felt he had abandoned the militant stance that defined Death Row during its peak. For Snoop, avoiding deeper involvement in the feud may have been a strategy to protect himself from the violence that ultimately claimed Tupac's life. Snoop Dogg's relationship with Suge Knight, the founder of Death Row Records, was fraught with complexities and power struggles that led to moments where Snoop's loyalty towards Knight was questioned. Initially, Snoop and Suge worked closely together during Death Row's golden era in the 1990s. However, as time went on, tensions grew, driven by disputes over creative control, business practices, and personal differences. One key moment of perceived disloyalty was Snoop's decision to leave Death Row Records for No Limit Records in the late 1990s. Snoop later described his time at Death Row Records as working against the devil and credited Master P for helping him escape the label's control. This departure came after Snoop felt that Suge's oppressive management style, including his inability to allow Snoop more autonomy, was stifling his career and putting his life at risk. Suge Knight, from his perspective, viewed Snoop as ungrateful, claiming that without him, there would be no Snoop Dogg. This sentiment was compounded by Snoop's public criticisms of Suge and the Death Row regime during this period. Further exacerbating their fallout was Snoop's shift in alliances and his effort to distance himself from the violent image of Death Row. For instance, in 1996, after the death of Tupac Shakur, Snoop attempted to extend a peace offering to rivals the Notorious B.I.G. and Puff Daddy while on the BET talk show with Tavis Smiley, which Suge interpreted as betrayal. Snoop publicly expressed admiration for Biggie and his music while talking with Tavis Smiley. Snoop stated,
Biggie Smalls, he's an artist that I listen to his music, I love his work. There's no beef, it's nothing personal. I don't hate him and I don't disrespect him and I love what he do, And it's just me, I'm just a smooth, peaceful individual. I don't have beef with nobody right now, baby.
Fans and critics saw this as further disloyalty, being that this interview was held just 2 months after Tupac Shakur's tragic death. Snoop later revealed that this effort to broker peace was met with disdain from Suge and his associates, further straining their relationship. Snoop's actions following his departure also seemed antagonistic to Suge. He released a diss track, Pimp Slap, in which he directly called out Suge, challenging his credibility and openly mocking his downfall. In the song, Snoop Dogg stated, "Suge Knight's a bitch, and that's on my life. He also went on to suggest Suge underpaid him, stating, "And I still ain't been paid for 187 on a cop." Snoop's defiant stance, coupled with his success outside of death row, likely intensified the perception of betrayal in Suge's eyes. Despite their contentious history, Snoop and Suge eventually reconciled in later years, with Snoop expressing forgiveness and respect for Suge's role in shaping West Coast hip-hop. He acknowledged their past differences but emphasized the importance of moving forward and learning from their shared history. These dynamics highlight how Snoop's choices, while focused on self-preservation and career growth, were seen by some as acts of disloyalty, especially by someone as controlling and combative as Suge Knight. Snoop's partnership with Master P and No Limit Records was a turning point in his career, but it also raised questions about loyalty. After leaving Death Row, Snoop aligned himself with Master P, who provided him with financial security and creative freedom. While Snoop has often praised Master P, some fans felt he didn't do enough to repay the favor once his career rebounded. Snoop's decision to distance himself from the No Limit aesthetic after leaving the label may have been seen as dismissive of the support Master P offered during a crucial period for Snoop Dogg. The dynamic between Snoop Dogg and Warren G, both pivotal in shaping the G-Funk era of hip-hop, has seen moments of tension that could be viewed as betrayal or signs of neglect. While the two artists have maintained an overarching respect for each other, some key incidents have raised questions about the support, or lack thereof, that Snoop offered Warren during critical moments in his career. Snoop Dogg and Warren G are not just collaborators, but also close friends. Warren played a pivotal role in connecting Snoop and Dr. Dre. In frustration with getting a label deal, Snoop had thrown all his raps in the trash, and Warren actually went in the trash and retrieved his raps, telling him that he can't give up. In a 2023 interview with Big Boy, Warren G confirmed the story of retrieving Snoop's raps from the trash.
Yeah, went right in there and grabbed them. Once again, it was just like, you know, this all we have right now to try to escape out of getting killed on the spot.
Warren would later go on to play Snoop's demo for Dr. Dre at a bachelor party, leading the two to connect. Warren and Snoop, alongside Nate Dogg, formed the trio 213 in the early 1990s, pioneering the G-Funk sound that would later dominate the West Coast hip-hop scene. However, as their careers progressed, their paths diverged. Snoop became a household name through his association with Dr. Dre and Death Row Records, while Warren opted to sign with Def Jam, aiming to carve his own lane outside Dre's shadow. One of the most significant points of tension revolved around Warren G's commercial success with his debut album, Regulate, G-Funk Era. Despite the album's massive success, which included the iconic hit, Regulate, Warren felt he didn't receive the same level of visibility or industry recognition as his peers like Snoop and Dre. While Snoop flourished under Death Row, Warren's decision to go independent came with its challenges. Though Snoop appeared to remain a friend, critics and fans speculated that Snoop, with his immense platform and influence, could have done more to highlight Warren's contributions to the genre during its height. The eventual reunion of 213 for their 2004 album, The Hard Way, highlighted another issue, timing. By the time this project came to fruition, the G-Funk era had waned, and the album, while celebrated by fans, didn't match the commercial heights of their earlier individual works. Some fans saw this as Snoop capitalizing on nostalgia, rather than fully championing Warren G's talents during the prime of his career when he might have needed it most. In more recent years, Warren G has expressed frustrations about his battles to regain the rights to his master recordings from Def Jam. While Warren has stated that Snoop Dogg attempted to help in negotiations alongside Russell Simmons, these efforts were ultimately unsuccessful. Warren's remarks highlight a recurring theme, a sense of being underappreciated despite his foundational contributions to West Coast hip-hop. For some, the failed attempt symbolized a broader pattern where Snoop's support, while present, has often been insufficient during Warren's most challenging times. While Snoop and Warren G have continued to collaborate and share a bond, certain moments in their history suggest missed opportunities for Snoop to uplift Warren more actively. Warren struggled to gain equal recognition and support, leaving some to question whether Snoop could have done more to uplift his friend's career, a friend who played a pivotal role in his success. Whether this is a reflection of the complexities of the music industry or personal priorities is open to interpretation. Their story remains a testament to both the strength and strain that friendships endure in the hyper-competitive world of hip-hop. For Warren, his narrative often underscores the importance of self-reliance in the face of unmet expectations from even the closest of allies. Snoop Dogg and Daz Dillinger's relationship has had its fair share of highs and lows, emblematic of both familial and professional dynamics. As cousins and longtime collaborators in the influential rap duo The Dog Pound, consisting of Daz Dillinger and Corrupt, their bond has been central to West Coast hip-hop. However, over the years, their relationship has seen moments of tension, public disputes, and eventual reconciliations. Daz Dillinger and Snoop Dogg first rose to prominence under the Death Row Records umbrella, contributing to landmark projects such as Snoop's debut Doggy Style and the Dogg Pound's Dog Food. These projects cemented their reputations in the hip-hop world. Despite their shared success, cracks began to form in their relationship, stemming from differing personal expectations and professional pressures. The falling out between Snoop and Daz has been characterized by various interpersonal conflicts. In an Instagram post, Daz once remarked that Snoop attempted to punk him, but he resisted, claiming he had always stood up for Snoop in difficult situations. Me and Snoop been feuding for a little bit because the older cousin trying to punk the little cousin, but I'm not going for that shit, cause I beat up for you. You don't beat for me, cuz. Daz felt undervalued in their dynamic, despite being a major contributor to the Dogg Pound's success. Throughout their feud, Daz has taunted Snoop on social media multiple times. After the game took to Instagram to post a video of him and Snoop amongst other rappers shooting dice, Daz commented LOL on the post. Some speculate this was Daz mocking the fact that Snoop Dogg, a known Crip, was hanging with the game, a known blood. Daz also recently took to Instagram to ask Snoop why he isn't helping Diddy during his sexual assault charges. Help your friend, Snoop Dogg, you was right there with him. Daz's taunting of Snoop asking him why he isn't helping his friend further adds to the narrative that Snoop is a fake friend. Another flashpoint in their falling out occurred when Snoop failed to attend Daz's birthday party, according to Reggie Wright Jr., former head of security for Death Row Records, in a 2023 interview with Bomb First.
Daz had a birthday a week ago, his 50th. Was Snoop Dogg there at that party? Did Snoop Dogg give him anything?
Clearly insinuating that Snoop Dogg was not present at Daz's party and did not give him anything. This incident reportedly deepened their estrangement, with both artists unfollowing each other on social media platforms. Despite these tensions, the familial bond between Snoop and Daz played a crucial role in their eventual reconciliation. A significant moment came after the death of Snoop's brother, Bing Worthington. Bing's passing was a catalyst for Snoop to reach out to estranged family members, including Daz. This led to heartfelt conversations and a renewed commitment to their personal and professional relationship. Daz and Corrupt speak on the renewal of their bond on Drink Champs, in which Daz speaks on blocking Corrupt on Instagram, and the morning they all reconciled at Snoop's house.
I'm sitting in there and he called Corrupt over. I didn't know he was calling Corrupt over because I had blocked Corrupt on Instagram.
In 2024, the duo came together to create new music under the title WAWG, We All We Got, which was a celebration of unity and resilience. Daz spoke about how Snoop took the lead in the creative process, which he followed out of respect and a desire to mend their bond. This project not only marked their reconciliation, but also underscored the enduring strength of their partnership. Both Daz and Snoop have publicly acknowledged the cyclical nature of their disputes and reconciliations. Daz admitted that their feuds often reflected family dynamics rather than irreparable professional disagreements. Corrupt, another key member of the Dogg Pound, emphasized that their status as family has always helped them overcome conflicts that might have permanently severed friendships. The falling out between Snoop Dogg and Daz Dillinger highlights the complexities of mixing family with business in high-stakes creative industries. Despite moments of tension, their ability to reconcile and collaborate demonstrates the enduring bond they share, both as artists and as family members. Their journey from feuding cousins to unified collaborators is a testament to the resilience of their relationship and their shared commitment to West Coast hip-hop. Snoop's on and off disputes with Daz Dillinger were often centered around financial disagreements and control over creative projects. While the two shared immense success as a part of Death Row Records, their intermittent conflict suggests that Snoop's actions, intentional or not, sometimes alienated those closest to him. Snoop Dogg's feud with Eminem, one of Dr. Dre's proteges, marked another moment of tension in his career. The conflict began when Snoop omitted Eminem from his list of top 10 rappers during an interview in 2020 on Power 105.1's The Breakfast Club. He stated that Eminem's success was largely due to Dr. Dre's production and implied that Eminem wasn't in the same league as other rap legends. Snoop emphatically stated,
When you talking about this hip-hop shit that I can't live without, I can live without that.
implying that he could live without Eminem's contributions to hip-hop. Eminem responded to these remarks in his song Zeus on the album Music to Be Murdered By. He expressed disappointment, particularly because the criticism came from someone he admired. Eminem rapped lines like, "Last thing I need is Snoop Dogg in me. Man, dog, you was like a damn god to me. Nah, not really. I had dog backwards," revealing the personal sting of Snoop's comments. Eminem said in a New Year's Eve interview on Shade 45.
Him saying Dre made the best version of me, absolutely. Like, why would I have a problem with that? Like, would I be here without Dre? No, I wouldn't. But it was the last statement when he said, far as music I can live without that shit. Now you're being disrespectful for, like, it just caught me off guard.
The tension didn't last long, as Eminem told his manager Paul Rosenberg on his Paul's Pod podcast in 2022.
When that thing happened with Dre, the brain aneurysm thing, and we were like, bro, this is stupid. This is stupid as hell to be feuding right now. So I don't remember if I called him or he called me, I can't remember, but we talked it out.
Snoop also publicly apologized, admitting that his comments were out of pocket. He explained that his competitive nature as a rapper had fueled the remarks, but recognized that they were unnecessary. Snoop emphasized that he and Eminem were like family, bound by their shared history with Dr. Dre and mutual respect for each other's craft. Their reconciliation was solidified when they performed together during the Super Bowl 56 halftime show in 2022. This feud again highlighted the intricacies of relationships in hip-hop, where competition and personal admiration often intersect. It ended amicably, showing the maturity and camaraderie that Snoop and Eminem shared despite their differences. Eminem responded on his track Zeus, expressing disappointment at Snoop's remarks, especially given their shared connection through Dr. Dre. This led to a brief public back and forth, with fans perceiving Snoop's comments as unnecessarily dismissive of an artist who had long considered him a mentor. Although the two eventually reconciled, the incident left many questioning Snoop's loyalty to someone who had consistently praised him. Snoop's dismissal of Eminem's stature as a top-tier rapper, despite their shared connection through Dr. Dre, led to public backlash. While the two reconciled, the incident revealed how Snoop's candidness and independence would sometimes be interpreted as dismissive or ungrateful. Snoop Dogg's neutral stance during the Kendrick, Lamar, and Drake feud was another moment where some questioned his loyalty. Both artists are among the most prominent figures in contemporary hip-hop, and their rivalry has included subtle disses and competitive jabs. Snoop, who has praised both Kendrick and Dre as his nephews, refrained from taking a side in their conflict. While he celebrated their contributions to the culture, fans and critics expected Snoop to back Kendrick, a fellow West Coast artist and protege of Dr. Dre. His neutrality was seen by some as a missed opportunity to show solidarity with Kendrick, especially given his roots in West Coast rap. But as seen with the position he chose to take in the East Coast versus West Coast beef, why would anyone expect anything but neutrality from Snoop? Snoop's career is a testament to the ongoing conflict of self-preservation versus loyalty. Snoop's choices often stemmed from the volatile and competitive nature of the hip-hop industry, particularly during the 1990s when Death Row Records dominated the scene. His departure from the label, driven by Suge Knight's controlling leadership and a desire to escape the increasingly dangerous environment, underscores his focus on self-preservation. Leaving Death Row for No Limit Records under Master P allowed Snoop to reinvent himself and secure creative and financial stability at a critical juncture in his career. However, this move was perceived by Suge Knight and some fans as abandoning the loyalty expected within the Death Row family. In his relationship with Tupac Shakur, Snoop's instinct for diplomacy and peace conflicted with Tupac's combative approach during the East Coast-West Coast feud. While Tupac expected solidarity, Snoop's public praise for the Notorious B.I.G. was seen as betrayal. Snoop later admitted that his attempts to de-escalate the conflict and seek unity were met with animosity from Tupac and other Death Row associates. For Snoop, avoiding deeper involvement in the feud may have been a strategy to protect himself from the violence that ultimately claimed Tupac's life. Yet, to many fans, this pragmatism came at the cost of perceived loyalty. Snoop Dogg's ability to reconcile with past adversaries speaks to his adaptability and resilience. He eventually mended relationships with figures like Suge Knight and Eminem, demonstrating a willingness to move beyond conflicts and prioritize growth. Snoop's journey highlights the difficulty of maintaining personal relationships in an industry where competition, ego, and survival often intersect. Snoop's ultimate legacy may lie in his capacity to evolve and endure. In an industry where many careers are cut short by violence or irrelevance, Snoop's pragmatism and focus on self-preservation have allowed him to remain a dominant cultural force for over 3 decades. While some critics may view these moments as evidence of disloyalty, others argue that they underscore Snoop's wisdom in prioritizing his safety and career. In the end, Snoop Dogg remains an enduring figure in hip-hop, celebrated not only for his music, but also for his ability to adapt, reconcile, and thrive in an unforgiving industry. As one of the biggest household names in entertainment, Snoop Dogg's ability to balance loyalty and self-preservation defines both the criticisms and the admiration that surrounds Snoop Dogg's legacy.